As you all know, Trump got viciously booed, nearly booed off stage at the Libertarian Party's convention in Washington, D.C. last night. And the Maga fan base is not taking this well. They are in full-blown cope mode. Half of them think they were paid agitators at the event's liberals there to make Donald Trump look bad, and the other half have their head buried so deeply in the sand that they don't even think anybody was booing at all. Maga Senator Mike Lee from Arizona said on Twitter, "Lots of what appeared to be paid agitators at the Libertarian convention tonight. From what I could tell, the overwhelming share of the actual libertarians in attendance were enthusiastic and supportive of Trump, thanks to the leadership of the Libertarian Party." Now, this is a complete distortion of events for a few reasons. Ron Filipkowski on Twitter said, "Trump won the 2020 election, January 6th was Antifa, and libertarians loved Trump." Those are three lies that Republicans tell themselves so they can sleep better at night. But the real reason why Mike Lee is lying and coping is because Donald Trump actually tried to plant his supporters in the audience to avoid the booing, but it still did not work. Friend of the show Ben Meiselas pointed out on Twitter, Trump tried to block the libertarians at their own convention in DC from attending the room where his speech was going to take place, but the libertarians stopped that scheme and booed the crap out of him for the entire speech. He was seething, he was angry and lost. He couldn't handle it. He tried making all his empty promises, but the crowd continued to boo him. He clenched his teeth in anger and started attacking the audience. Trump got to see what people really think of him when he's not in front of his MAGA cult. A weak, pathetic, vile, disgusting loser. And here's a video from someone in the crowd of Donald Trump being booed. This was not shown on TV last night. That was clearly booing, right? Well, not if you're a MAGA sycophant like Caitlyn Jenner, who said, "This was great to watch. They must vote Trump, if not nominate him tomorrow with any shot at winning. Truly fantastic to see Trump there and so many other great Republicans." Was it truly fantastic? Because it seems like nobody in the crowd actually enjoyed having Trump there. Here's an Instagram post from somebody in the crowd who said, "I'm so damn proud to be a libertarian and to be with these guys here in DC. I don't know what Trump was thinking coming to our convention. I could tell he was frustrated. He's never had a crowd of people like us. He's absolutely deserved all of that for being a warmonger, the lockdown policies, not ending the deep state, printing trillions, and being just an overall liar. He absolutely will not get any votes from us." So the libertarians don't hate Trump for the exact same reasons we do. They don't like him because of the lockdowns he put in place. They want less government, but their heart is sort of in the right place. Ron Filipkowski was on fire last night. He also said Trump didn't go to the Libertarian convention because he had the courage to speak to people with opposing views. He thought he was going to roll them, con them, manipulate them, just like with his cult. But it backfired. Trump is despised outside of his cult. That proved it. Which is totally true. Trump was trying to pander to a crowd of libertarians that know that Trump is the antithesis of everything they stand for. So libertarians in general want less government intervention in our lives, but if you look at Donald Trump's plan for his next presidency, if he wins, if you look at things like Project 2025 or just stuff that he said in interviews, Donald Trump wants the government to be in our lives more. He wants them to track women's pregnancies, maybe even women's periods. He wants the government to be able to step in and stop parents from receiving medical care for their child if their child is trans or needs some sort of treatment. He wants to consolidate power within the executive branch and make it so that the checks and balances that exist in our government won't apply to him if he's in the White House. But Trump is so egotistical that he actually started insulting the crowd when they were booing him at the convention. He said something to the effect of, "You guys need to nominate Donald Trump." They started to boo him, so he says, "Oh, I guess you guys don't want to win. That's fine if you don't want to win."
Nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win.
Maybe you don't want to win, he tells them, but here's a clip of Tim Scott being interviewed this morning, completely coping about the event, trying to spin it as Donald Trump's popularity actually increasing.
Appreciate it. I want to start with what happened last night. Donald Trump, good morning, faced a mix of cheers and boos at the Libertarian National Convention. What did you make of that response?
I saw a wave of red hats at the Libertarian Convention. Donald Trump's popularity continues to increase, but
David Weigel responded on Twitter by saying, context left out by Tim Scott. Trump supporters not attending the convention were allowed into the speech. They were moved out of the front rows only after delegates complained. There are some red hats on the convention floor. They're pro-Malay and read, "Make Argentina Great Again." Classic libertarians. MAGA conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer may be coping the most out of all of the MAGA sycophants. She said Trump went from being booed after every word of his speech at the Libertarian National Convention, so at least she admits that part, to having the attendees eating out of his hand and cheering for him. He's the best communicator in the entire world. Truly a masterclass. I hope everyone is taking notes right now. That is a wild way to spin it, considering the fact that Donald Trump was booed from the second he walked on stage. He was booed after every single word, just like Laura Loomer said, and he was booed until the second he walked off stage. There was never a moment where he won over the crowd or they were metaphorically eating out of his hand. They were firmly against the BS he was spewing throughout the entire speech. In fact, when MAGA Senator Mike Lee was introducing Donald Trump, somebody actually yelled the word bullshit before the entire crowd started to boo. If you don't remember, Mike Lee was the one from earlier on in the video that claimed there were paid agitators at this event. Watch this clip.
But I can tell you, he will agree with you a whole hell of a lot more bullshit than that nutball in the White House or anybody else on the ticket. I encourage you, take a listen to Donald Trump.
Ron Filipkowski once again said Trump can't even get his own vice president to vote for him, referring to Mike Pence, but he thought he'd try to make a play for libertarians. He also posted a picture of Vivek Ramaswamy next to failed MAGA rapper Forgiato Blow, and this MAGA person named Manic Contrarian, that's a pretty good name for a MAGA sycophant, said, "Welcome to the future of the Republican Party," with the two biggest clowns you know pictured below. Ron Filipkowski said, "Glad I left." But this morning, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, went on CNN to break down this convention. He was asked about the threat that RFK poses to Biden and Trump's campaign, and then asked about the convention as a whole. Watch what he said.
What do you think RFK's candidacy does? And who do you think it hurts more, Trump or Biden?
Well, thanks for having me. Well, I think probably Trump, because I think most Democratic voters and most voters out there who had to live through COVID understand the dangerous rhetoric from RFK Jr. is simply unacceptable. But I find it ironic he was at the Libertarian convention and no one has been more restrictive, whether it's women's reproductive rights or the rights to vote. This certainly hasn't been a libertarian lean in terms of liberties. So I think we're always concerned, third-party votes. Look, Minnesota's a very independent state. But I think the difference is that President Biden's making a case that their lives are improved, that the status of the United States and the global community is at stake, and that's the choice they should make. So we'll just make the work, get the work done. But it was somewhat entertaining to watch that last night, I will say.
It absolutely was entertaining. It was brutal for the Trump campaign. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment a blue heart if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have a great Sunday.